If you want to go straight to the exercise, I will put a timestamp in the description. Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how I make use of simple nursery rhymes to help improve my son's visual functions. So how I make use of my play with my son might vary a little bit different based on his visual needs, and your child's visual needs might be a little bit different than his. Whether you're deep into Michelle's courses and you've done her diamond scale assessment on your child, you're going to be able to know which areas of their vision has deficits, which is where you want to make sure that you're holding the object in play to encourage getting those midline crossings and those visual arcs in. If you haven't and you're just new and starting with vision, there are some really simple ways that you can understand how your child is functioning visually. So you might notice like a torticollis or a specific preference for looking to a side. That's going to signify to you a eye dominance. Sometimes eye dominance can cause a preference for going to one side, so that might give you an idea of the weaker side that you need to work on. Maybe you have a hip x-ray from your child and you'll be able to look at the angles of which the pelvis is forming. And sometimes when you have a degree variation that's larger than one side to the other side, that's going to also signal to you that perhaps there is something going on visually which causes them to develop a weaker side. Or another great resource to finding out how your child is functioning visually is making use of like a chiropractor. They'll let you know which areas along the spine are not functioning properly. So when it comes to chiropractors, for example, in my son's case, he has a bit of a retained spinal galant on his left side. When there's a spinal galant, you know, there's issues with rotating into that pelvis as well as that twist in the spine, which causes the reflex to be retained. This makes perfect sense in my son's case because he has a cataract in his right eye, and so this means that he's left eye dominant, which means that he's going to rotate into his chest to this side. Well, this side tends to stay more straight. Whichever way you're turning towards, the spine tends to twist more on the other side. And so because he is left eye dominant, he's always going to choose to twist to this side because that's the clearest sight of vision. But when this eye is blocked because of the cataract, then he's not going to prefer to twist into this side, because when your vision is compromised, of course, you're more worried about falling, or it's just not going to be as easy for you to do the movements. One of the best ways for me to work on him specifically to remove that reflex and also help improve the structure of his hip is being mindful that I know these things, I know that we need to work on it, I know that he's not going to choose to go to this side when the vision is compromised, but I know that with movement lesson, this is what I need to work on, because if he continues on with a side preference, he makes neurological connections for that preference, and then even if in the future I go ahead and get his cataract, removed, he's going to have more neurological connections and a preference to always go this way. But if I keep up with him in movement lesson and I am helping teach the body how to efficiently rotate despite the visual deficits towards the weaker side, then when he does have surgery and he does have a clear eye, he's going to find it to be easier to relearn how to turn to his bad side, because he's still going to have those makings of those neurological connections for going to this side, which then when the visual functions are clear, he's going to have an easier time going into that. And so hopefully providing you with my example of how my son is functioning visually, it might give you some insights of things that you could do to help better understand or deeper understand how your child is functioning visually. If you have any questions, you can always post it on Movement Lesson for Parents and Practitioners, and we're there to give you guidance and to help you understand how your child is functioning visually. And then when you keep that in mind, then you can just make use of our little play games to help improve the vision. Sometimes we hyper-focus on like hand placement and specifics and all that kind of stuff, but really more movement lesson is like a dance, where as long as we are keeping the body open and receptive to being able to rotate in all directions, because rotation, if you think of rotation, rotation is a ball. So rotation, you can literally roll in a 360-degree area. So as long as we're keeping the body free and that we're improving rotation within every part of our bodies, then we're being successful with our movement lesson. When we have better rotation in our body movements, we're going to have an easier time visually attending to something, because when we don't rotate, if we want to visually attend to something, then we're going to have to use our eyes while keeping our body stationary, which is definitely harder to do. And guys, if anything that I've said to you is like super confusing, maybe you don't get it, post your comments below and I'm going to be here to be able to help us get you to a point where you're able to help improve your child's vision. See bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Oh my goodness, he's going up really high. This is a high water spout. Down came the rain and whooshed the spider out.
I just kissed him.
But out came the... Over here.
No.
Do you see him? Where's the sun? You gotta look at the sun, Mr. Sun. Out came the sun. It dried up all the rain and the... But notice how I'm doing rain, I'm using the spider for upper and lower quadrant vision. And we're just playing. I'm not sitting there with a ball and being like, look at the ball, look over here, do the ball. We're just interacting. Sometimes he's not doing what I want him to do. Oftentimes he's not doing what I want him to do, but my goal is the same goal, which is I'm just trying to work on, for him specifically, going from left to right and right to left. And while being mindful of that, I'm singing him a song. We're playing those games, and I'm just trying to get those successes. A few successes is all we need. We're getting those successes. We're strengthening the movement vocabulary and the vision for those specific areas. Vincent, can you say thank you for playing today?
Thank you to
Okay, come here.
You little guys.
Bye.
Bye.